Hi, it's Maggie the Irish Gypsy here to bring you your December 2020 mid-month general reading. We're looking at the last 2 weeks of December 2020. And this reading is for the air sign of Libra. Welcome. Thanks for joining us today. I hope everyone's having a very nice holiday season, and ahead of time I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So this reading is for Libra for the last 2 weeks of December 2020. So that's Libra Sun, Moon, Rising. If your Venus is in Libra, if you're cross-watching for a Libran, it's all relevant. But of course, being a general reading, it's going to resonate a little differently for everyone. So watch all of your signs if you know them. It can bring in additional insight and clarification for you. If you find that any of these readings do resonate with you and you are interested in reaching out for a personal reading for yourself, or perhaps as a holiday gift for a friend, family, or loved one, you can click on the description link below, click on that little arrow which will pull down my email address, which is Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. I'd be delighted to hear from you. I do offer a wide variety of readings in all areas of life, of all different types and lengths and costs. And again, they do make great holiday gifts for people, especially now. You don't have to leave your home to either give them or receive them. So something to keep in mind, and also food for thought. Particularly popular this time of year are the 6 and 12-month overviews I do, which give us a little sneak peek at what's coming in different areas of our life over the next 6 or 12 months, depending on how far ahead you want to look. And a lot of people like to order those as we're transitioning out of one year and beginning a new one, so something else to think about. Okay, Libra, let's see what's in store for you for the last 2 weeks of December 2020. I am using the Tarot of Dreams and clarifying with the Gilded Tarot Royale. Libra. These cards are fairly new and still slippery. Okay, Libra. We begin with the Knight of Cups. Perhaps a love or emotional offer coming in, clarified by the Queen of Coins. We have the Ace of Swords, a little reality check, perhaps an epiphany, new perspective, with the Knight of Wands. We have Strength, with the Knight of Swords. And from the bottom of the deck, we have 2 cards. The Emperor and I'm going to keep it, the King of Coins. So from the bottom of the deck, that's your overall energy focus. I really feel like for most of you, Libra, that the Emperor and the King of Coins are one and the same person. It might be an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, or it may be somebody who has a lot of earth in their natal chart, somebody who has a lot of physical and material stability. That's what they're focused on. They can be a little bit hedonistic. They do love their comfort, their comfortable things, nice surroundings, luxurious surroundings. They're on top of the financial and material and physical structure of their world. They're very good at it, and they've worked long and hard to get there. For some of you, it might be you focused on that type of security in your life, that earth energy, money, finances, property, job, all of that kind of stuff. And the Emperor, who rules all the kings and queens, Aries energy here, it can represent a father or a father figure, or somebody who is in a position of seniority, stability, control. It could also represent someone in your life who is older, because I do feel for the majority of you that the Emperor and the King of Coins is the same person, and it's a person external to you, that it's not your energy, although some of you may be more focused on perhaps your financial and material stability and security, or the long-term version of that. We definitely have a situation or person coming in very quickly, very passionately, very emotionally, And the interesting thing too is that we have the King and Queen of Coins here both. And just based on the other cards as well, this is likely a relationship for the majority of you, probably a love and romance relationship for most of you. Could be another partnership as well. The fact that we have the King and Queen of Coins and the Emperor could represent parents. But the King and Queen of Coins represents that whatever the nature of this relationship is, you guys at least are showing up as fairly well or evenly matched. I don't know about evenly, but the King and Queen of Coins as a couple would represent a couple that have probably been together for some time. For those of you in a love-romance relationship, for this reading, the Emperor and the King of Coins would likely be your person. For others of you, it might be a boss, like a big boss or a supervisor or something of that sort. It could be a father for some of you, but I think for a lot of you, this is more a love or romantic relationship. So, I mean, we have 3 aces here right off the bat. Sorry, knights, not aces. I was looking at the Ace of Swords. So we have these 3 knights. We have the Knight of Swords, who is air energy. So this knight brings in information, news, conversations, communications. Just the information, just the news and information. If it represents a conversation, it's a pretty clear, direct conversation. We have the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups, fire and water. So this is a passionate, offer or opportunity coming in very quickly, spontaneously, impulsively. And we have the Knight of Cups here, which is water, which is love, emotion, support, encouragement. And it's coming in towards you. But, because I have to put a but in here, of all of the 3 knights, which represent offers or opportunities for change, there's only one that's showing up on the top row of cards here. And I feel like that's what's coming in towards you. The other 2 knights, I feel, are your perspectives on this offer. So the Knight of Cups is over the Queen of Coins, which is, I believe, representative of you, Earth sign or not, or Earth in your natal chart or not. It could be somebody, it could be that you're both showing up as relatively stable individuals. So the Knight of Cups comes charging in, bearing his heart on his sleeve, let's go out on this date. I love you, singing outside of your window at midnight. And, well, maybe not really, but the Knight of Cups is in love with love itself. He or she is, very much an idealist. The challenge that arises with knights is that they're in the middle of the maturing, the growing up stage. There's like pages which are, the dreamers, the ideas, but they're still learning, so they don't have enough experience and knowledge to begin to physically manifest things. Knights do. They've matured and grown and evolved. They're very action-oriented, very assertive, very impulsive and spontaneous, except maybe the Knight of Earth. They have a mission and a quest, and they run right out to do it. Sometimes they cut corners or don't pay attention to the consequences. They're just focused on their goal, right? And then maturing and growing to kings and queens status. So the challenge with knights is in the long-term follow-through, because they typically always have an eye on the next thing. They have one mission, they rush in to do it, they accomplish it, and then they rush back out again. So the challenge with the Knight of Cups is, I love you, I'll be there for you forever, but in the day-to-day reality of the pressures we often face in life, the Knight of Cups can have a challenge in actually following through, when the heat of the moment and romance and passion is over. Which is interesting, because I feel like it's coming from this Emperor, King of Coins energy, which isn't typical for the traditional stereotype, archetype of this individual, because, they're at the top of things. That requires a certain amount of responsibility and accountability and adherence to, rules and what makes sense so that there isn't chaos and breakdown and stability still reigns. And the Emperor and the King of Coins knows that very well. On the flip side, though, the negative aspects of the Emperor and the King of Coins can be, too hedonistic, too sensualistic, too out for their own comfort and convenience, too much into power and control. It's my way or the highway. There's no other way but mine because I'm the Emperor and I'm the King. So it feels like this Emperor, King of Coins energy is coming forward, very determined, like you are their goal. I mean, you're actually got knights above you and knights beside you. So like you're their goal, you're their mission. But the energy is knight energy. It's coming in and accomplishing something and then leaving again. Perhaps you've been in a relatively long-term relationship with somebody who has a tendency to come in and go out, and come in and go out, and come in and go out. Kind of promising this and making things all fun, but it just continues being that way, because that's sort of what I'm seeing and feeling here, although we will clarify. And to kind of underscore that, in the middle here, we have the Ace of Coins clarified by the Knight of Wands. This is the fastest, most impulsive, spontaneous, passion, fire-driven of all of the knights. He just really charges forward. He only sees what he's going after and nothing else. So crowning him, the Ace of Swords is the epiphany. Aces represent a number one, a new start, a new beginning, or an opportunity for that. The Ace of Swords is the Ace of Air, the Ace of wisdom, clarity, truth, enlightenment. It's seeing something in a new perspective, or seeing it for the actual reality that it is, unhindered by what you want something to be or dream something to be. The Ace of Swords is a card that can represent success, but it's success that comes from seeing something in the reality of it is, and making, in the reality of what it is, and making decisions and choices that are going to create a healthier or better reality for yourself. Sometimes the Ace of Swords can be difficult to take. The Ace of Swords, the Knight of Swords, kind of like the cold hard truth, or seeing something in the light of day without anything to pad it or sugarcoat it. So, and it might not be pleasant. You might be seeing something for what it really is, or seeing this offer for looking really great and coming with all this, water and fire and all of this, but there's may not be a lot of substance or follow through with it because, perhaps this is a negative cycle. And the Ace of Swords represents seeing that. So in that energetic space, you have the ability to make choices and changes, which might not be easy, but you could potentially create a better outlook and a better life for yourself, a better reality, a healthier one, even if it means cutting someone off. And I'm not saying that's what you should do here, but the Ace of Swords clarified by the Knight of Wands is seeing something. The Ace of Swords is seeing something for what it actually is. It's illumination, and it's an opportunity to make choices based on that. And it feels like you see this offer for what it is, which is, comes in great wrapping and all of this stuff, but for some reason, it may not be everything that you want it to be. It may not have a lot of substance or carry very much long-term security and stability. And then we have Strength and the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords brings information that is absolutely just very direct and sometimes blunt, can represent conversations that are very honest and direct and clear as well. Over that is Strength. Strength speaks of the strength that comes from facing things that are difficult to face, accepting what your limitations are and what you have the ability to change, and doing all of that to the best of your ability. It takes a lot of strength, wisdom, and true humility to do that, but it's also what you gain more of by going through it and coming out on the other side. And this is sitting next to the Ace of Swords. So Libra, it's kind of like seeing something for what it is, and there's some challenges, I think, for you in seeing this offer or what's being presented for what it really is. And I feel like you may be having a conversation with this person about that, a pretty honest, direct conversation. It's as if the Emperor, this Emperor King of Coins energy, it's kind of like, an older person who's gotten to where they're at by being really responsible and working hard and being accountable and disciplined and all of that. And they just got to a point where they don't want to do that anymore, that they've built up their security. They've built up kind of their stability and security, and it's almost like they want to go through almost a second, kind of like that time in your 20s when you were carefree and didn't, you wanted some things, but you didn't want anything really too deep or too, it's kind of like they're acting like that. It's kind of strange. It's energy I'm getting. Interesting. All right, well, let's clarify. Let's clarify the Emperor, King of Coins. Clarify this. It's kind of like they're saying, yeah, I've been all that, I've done all that, and I want something a little different. Or, perhaps they feel like they're in a place where they don't need to, this is what I have, this is all I'm going to offer, and, either take it or leave it. I don't know. There's something unpleasant here I'm not liking. I feel kind of like this Emperor, King of Coins, is acting like somebody who thinks they're still in their 20s or something. Like, I don't know, it's like they're not acting according to their status and age and level of, responsibility. So we had a card that popped out, the Two of Swords. Reluctance and a resistance to look at something and make decisions based on that. Because twos can often represent being in a place of duality, of crossroads. And the Two of Swords often represents a reluctance or a resistance to actually admit that, to look at it, because then you would have to take responsibility for it, then you would have to make choices. And so it is easier to remain blindfolded. There's something that you don't want to look at. And this is the energy of this Emperor and the King of Coins. It can represent a very stubborn kind of energy. And it feels like this is an already formed relationship of some kind, and they should be offering more than they are based on what they've gotten from you in return for that. But they're saying, I don't want to do the same things I used to do. Why do I need to do those kind of things? Why can't I just, make this light-hearted, passionate offer and have that be good enough? It's kind of what I'm getting. It's kind of interesting. Interesting to see the feedback on this one. So let's clarify the Knight of Cups. Let's clarify this love or emotional offer. But it does feel like they're very focused on you. They're like coming in, with all of this energy and water and fire and all of that. The Three of Cups clarifies the Knight of Cups, who's making the offer. But the Three of Cups, it's a nice card, a high social energy to this card. But it's a card about getting together and having fun and being lighthearted and drinking and dancing, listening to music. And, it's a card of having fun in the present. This is a card of enjoying yourself now. This is not a card that has a thought down the road or for the future, which would be kind of stereotypical for this Knight of Cups. Let's go out, let's just have a good time, and the future, stability, commitment, no, let's not talk about, let's not look about this, let's just go out now and have a good time, we only have today, that sort of energy. Let me see what's behind that. The Page of Cups, lighthearted, flirtatious, not too heavy. Let's clarify that Ace of Swords. What is being seen? The Four of Pentacles. Someone who is holding on to what makes them feel safe and secure. It's interesting because sometimes traditionally this used to be called the Miser card because it represented somebody who was not generous, somebody who didn't want to give and share their money, their wealth, their material stuff, their resources, their emotions, their love. This is somebody who's very kind of closed off, protective, guarded. Perhaps they've been hurt quite a bit in the past, and maybe because of that, they cling very tightly to whatever it is that makes them feel safe and stable and secure. And you're seeing the truth of that. It could also be too for some of you, and in addition, for some of you, Libra, that Ace of Swords and Four of Pentacles is can represent, because you see the truth of the situation, what they're offering, what it really means and what it doesn't really mean, that you need to focus on holding on to what you have left, your stability and security as well. Clarify the Knight of Wands. What is the Knight of Wands rushing in with all this fire? But you're seeing that too, because the Knight of Wands is clarifying the Ace of Swords. It's like you're seeing it for what it really is. It's a knight offer. It's a knight opportunity. It's not a king or queen. You're showing up as a queen. A knight can't court a queen. They're not at the same level. And I don't mean to say that in terms of, being better than other people and all of that. But, I mean, when you look at it, it's kind of like, this emperor is coming forward with the energy of a knight, which is kind of beneath him. He's an emperor. He needs to have emperor king energy, and I feel like a person of this responsibility or age and seniority or all of that, certainly somebody who's been in your life for some time, it looks like, should be coming forth with something more substantial, because you're showing up as a queen regardless of whether you're female or male. This is not one of those readings where all of these knights represent, a great opportunity or multiple opportunities coming in. That's not what I'm getting here. Clarify the Knight of Wands. What is it that you're seeing behind this Knight of Wands? The Six of Pentacles. Yeah, often called the breadcrumb card. I mean, on its surface, it represents giving and receiving. It can represent being philanthropic, that you're about to receive something or you're about to give something. But again here, one person is holding all the goods, all the wealth, all the love, all the whatever, right? They're counting out, all of their stuff. It makes them feel good, makes them feel safe, makes them feel secure. And they're feeling very kind of, good about that. And they're periodically throwing the occasional coin or coins out the window to these, what looks like needy, grasping, homeless looking, somebody in need, right? So, but they have the goods to do that. The other person is in a position of want. They are in a position of security. And so they give when they choose to give. That's kind of what I'm getting here. And I hate to feel this way, because it's not just that I don't like seeing this in relationships between people, regardless of the relationships. It just feels like you deserve better than this, and it feels like they deserve better than to give this. It feels like what they're offering is beneath where they should be right now. It's almost the equivalent of an older man leaving his devoted wife for somebody 30, I don't know. I don't want to pass judgment on that kind of stuff, but I just, there's this kind of energy that I'm feeling, Libra, where like you know better than that. You should be doing better than that. You know better than that. You can offer better than that, because this is a queen, and it's all very great and lighthearted and fun and fiery, but there isn't anything behind it. It's kind of like one of those cardboard cakes. Okay, I'll stop. So, strength to really look at all this, to see it for the truth of what it really is. And you have the opportunity to make choices here. Having conversations about it. You probably already have, but you may be having a difficult conversation with them. You may be, maybe it's time for an ultimatum that you mean. Or you could see the situation for what it is and go, well, I'm going to stay anyway. Typically, people end up getting stuck in that for quite a long time, if not the rest of their lives, too. And again, no judgment there. It's about making the decision with your eyes open and not fooling yourself about what you're choosing. I feel like there may be a conversation here that comes at the end of the year, or maybe the beginning of 2021. It might not be a verbal exchange, because a lot of this energy for you is internal. I think that in a longer term relationship, Libra, you may have gotten caught up in seeing this person as the Emperor, King of Coins, that they legitimately were in the real world on paper, And because of that, staying for quite a while, even though you really weren't getting everything you deserved to get and that they were able to give, because you just assumed it would be there at some point because they're the Emperor and the King of Coins. And it kind of feels like somebody's really waking up and really taking a look at it in the sense of perhaps, preparing to make decisions about it. I'm going to end with asking for some advice and guidance. How can Libra best navigate through this energy the last 2 weeks of December? Or what should they focus on? Contemplate, do. The Ace of Swords. So you have the Ace of Swords twice. You need to look at it clearly in the reality of what it is, not what you want it to be. Clarify the Ace of Coins. Seeing something in the perspective of what? The truth of what? The negative toxic cycle of it, the unhealthy circular, this is something which has been going on for a while. And I think that you've been probably telling yourself, I don't know, fill in the blank, whatever we tell ourselves to keep something going and keep us having hope in a situation. So you're being asked to take a look at that. The Five of Pentacles, this cycle, this negative, unhealthy cycle of feeling like the Five of Pentacles, always insufficient, always having to beg, always being on the outside, feeling abandoned, rejected, not good enough, feeling like you're always needy, having to beg, having to ask, Yeah, I think I'm just going to end it there because I think that advice is pretty clear. I think the actions may come later if you're not in the process of doing that. It's actually just taking a look at something and accepting once and for all what it actually is, what it isn't. Some of you might be giving this other person ultimatums, or you may just be coming to the end of a cycle that you've been keeping yourself blind to or looking the other way for quite some time. But what you're being asked to do during this time is to really look at it for what it is. And whatever decisions you make, whether to stay or go or whatever it is that you decide, do it with your eyes open with this truth and clarity. Because even if you choose to stay in a situation which isn't fulfilling for you, there can be some acceptance and peace of knowing that and choosing it anyway. There's some sense of acceptance and release in that. Or saying, this really isn't how I want the rest X amount of my life to be like, so I'm going to make decisions. If the other person's on board, great. If they're not, I'm moving forward. So that's what it looks like to me. Okay, Libra. That is your reading for the last 2 weeks of December. I hope that you found it helpful and useful in some way. Again, if this resonated with you and you'd like to reach out for a personal reading for yourself or as a gift for someone else, you can email me directly at Maggie1McGuire@gmail.com. You can see that also by pulling that little arrow down, clicking on the description link. I will see you all again in a couple of weeks for the 2021, the first of the 2021 general readings. In the meantime, stay safe, be well. I wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a better New Year. And I hope to see you back here again soon. Bye-bye.